Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. When a woman truly carries the power of God within her, everything about her life changes. She becomes unstoppable. She becomes unshakable. She becomes a force that no darkness, no weapon, no lie, no storm can stand against. You can see it in her walk. You can hear it in her voice. You can feel it in her presence. Because when God's power flows through a woman, she becomes a living testimony of his greatness. This isn't about titles, positions, or popularity. This isn't about how loud she can shout or how many people she can impress. This is about evidence. Evidence that the supernatural power of heaven is alive in her life. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about 9 signs that she carries God's power. First, she walks with unshakable faith. A woman who carries God's power does not panic when the storm comes. She does not lose her mind when the battle gets fierce. She doesn't run from the fire, she walks through it. Her faith is her anchor, her shield, and her sword. She knows that the God who brought her this far will not abandon her now. 2, she speaks life, not death. Her words are not careless. Her tongue does not spread poison. She speaks healing where there is pain, peace where there is chaos, and encouragement where there is despair. Her mouth becomes an instrument of heaven because she understands that power and death are in the tongue, and she chooses to speak life. 3, she refuses to compromise. A woman of power is not for sale. She will not lower her standards just to fit in. She will not dilute her convictions just to be accepted. She stands for truth even if she has to stand alone. Her power comes from her purity, and she protects it fiercely. 4, she has authority over fear. Fear may knock, but it will not control. She may feel afraid, but she moves forward anyway. She commands her thoughts. She takes her emotions captive. She chooses courage over comfort, faith over fear, and purpose over excuses. 5, she radiates joy even in the valley. You can't explain her joy because it doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from God. Even when life is heavy, even when she's under attack, her joy becomes her strength. People look at her and wonder how she's still smiling, still shining, still showing up. 6, she prays with power. Her prayer life is not shallow, it's a weapon. She knows how to call down heaven, how to intercede for others, how to stand in the gap. She doesn't just pray for problems to go away, she prays for the strength to conquer them. 7, she shows relentless love. She loves people even when they're hard to love. She forgives even when they don't deserve it. Her love is not weakness, it's power. It's what sets her apart from the world because she carries the heart of God within her. 8, she has discernment. She doesn't just trust everything she sees or hears. She tests the spirit. She sees through deception, through manipulation, through distractions. Her discernment keeps her from falling into traps because God gives her clarity when others are confused. 9, she lives with purpose. Everything she does is intentional. She doesn't waste time. She doesn't waste energy. She doesn't waste her gift. She knows she was created for such a time as this. Her steps are ordered. Her decisions are guided. Her life becomes a blueprint for others to follow. When a woman carries God's power, she is not just surviving, she is shaking the earth. She is changing atmospheres. She is breaking generational curses. She is building something that will outlast her. So my challenge to you today is this. Stop playing small. Stop doubting yourself. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Rise up, step into your calling, activate the power that is already within you. The world is waiting for the light you carry. Heaven is counting on you to walk boldly. Don't just talk about power, live like you have it. Faith that won't be shaken is not something that just appears overnight. It is built, forged, and strengthened through trials, tears, and seasons that demand perseverance. A woman who carries God's power has learned that faith is not just believing when everything is easy, it's holding on when everything is falling apart. She has been through enough storms to know that the winds can blow, the rain can pour, the lightning can strike, but her roots run deep. Her faith does not come from feelings, because feelings change like the weather. It does not come from the applause of others, because people are fickle. It comes from knowing who her God is and what he has promised. This woman has faced disappointment and still chosen to trust. She has faced heartbreak and still chosen to believe. She has stood in the middle of unanswered prayers, delayed promises, and painful losses, and said to herself, I will not give up. I will not turn back. I will not let fear write my story. This kind of faith gives her an inner stability that others can't understand. People look at her and wonder how she is still standing after everything she has been through. They see her smiling, worshiping, encouraging others, and think she must have had an easy road. But they don't know the battles she fought in silence. They don't know the nights she cried herself to sleep, but still woke up the next morning declaring that today would be a new day. She has learned that faith is not passive, it is active. It is not just waiting for something to happen. It is speaking to the mountain, taking the step, making the move, even when she cannot see the whole path. A woman with unshakable faith carries an atmosphere with her wherever she goes. She does not just walk into a room. She shifts the energy in that room. People feel peace around her because she carries peace. People feel hope around her because she carries hope. This is not arrogance. This is confidence. Confidence in the one who holds her future. She knows that if God is for her, nothing and no one can stand against her. That knowledge changes the way she carries herself. She no longer walks in fear of the unknown. She no longer apologizes for being strong. She no longer begs for validation from those who cannot see her worth. Her faith reminds her that she is chosen, set apart, and divinely positioned for such a time as this. When challenges arise, she does not collapse under pressure. She rises to meet them. Her faith gives her a supernatural resilience. It allows her to see beyond the current situation and keep her eyes on the bigger picture. She knows that every trial is either a lesson, a preparation, or a promotion. She does not waste time complaining about what she cannot control, because she understands that complaining drains power, but praising multiplies strength. So she praises even when it hurts. She praises even when she doesn't have the answer. She praises because she knows that her praise is an act of faith, and her faith is unlocking doors she hasn't even seen yet. Her words are her power, and she knows it. A woman who carries God's power does not use her mouth carelessly, because she understands that what she says creates the atmosphere around her. She has learned through experience that words can either build a house or burn it down, heal a soul or wound it deeply, breathe life into a dream or crush it before it even starts. So she chooses her words with intention. She doesn't speak just to be heard. She speaks to bring transformation. When she opens her mouth, she builds others up. She affirms. She encourages. She strengthens. She uses her voice to remind people of who they are, not who their failures say they are. She calls out the good in others, even when the good is hidden under pain and disappointment. She knows the weight her words carry, so she refuses to speak recklessly. She refuses to let anger poison her speech. She refuses to use gossip or negativity as a weapon. She understands that the tongue can either be a sword that cuts down, or a tool that plants seeds of hope. And she has chosen to be a sower. When everyone else is speaking defeat, she speaks victory. When others are complaining, she speaks gratitude. When the people around her are drowning in doubt, she declares that things are about to turn around. Her words shift the mindset of the people listening to her. They walk away believing that change is possible because she dared to speak it. This kind of speech doesn't come from a shallow place. It comes from a heart that has been healed, renewed, and filled with divine wisdom. Her words have authority because they are rooted in truth, not emotion. She has learned that she cannot just repeat everything she hears or feels. Instead, she filters her words through discernment. She asks herself, will this bring life or death? Will this build faith or destroy it? Will this bring clarity or confusion? She does not let temporary emotions produce permanent damage. A woman like this speaks blessings over herself as well. She doesn't tear herself down with negative self-talk. She doesn't curse her own future by saying she's not good enough, not strong enough, or not worthy. Instead, she speaks strength over her life. She declares that she is capable. She reminds herself daily that she is chosen and equipped. Her words become her weapon of war, and she uses them to silence every voice that tries to speak against her purpose. Even in conflict, she remains mindful of her tone. She can correct without crushing, confront without condemning, challenge without humiliating. This is what makes her powerful. Not the volume of her words, but the weight of them. People listen when she speaks because they know she does not waste words. Her speech is seasoned with wisdom, with compassion, with courage. She knows that a single sentence can shift someone's destiny, and she refuses to waste the opportunity to make an impact. Courage over comfort is one of the clearest marks of a woman who carries God's power, because she refuses to stay stuck in what is easy when she is called to do what is necessary. She understands that comfort zones are cozy, but nothing grows there. She knows that if she wants to see the fullness of her destiny, she must be willing to walk into uncomfortable places, face situations that challenge her, and step into rooms where fear tries to whisper that she doesn't belong. She does not allow fear to dictate her decisions or keep her small. Fear may knock at her door, but courage answers. She feels the fear, but she moves anyway. Her courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision that fear will not control her. She remembers the times when fear tried to stop her from speaking up, from chasing her dreams, from setting boundaries, from leaving toxic environments, but she chose to act anyway. Each time she did, her confidence grew. Each time she pushed past fear, she discovered strength she didn't know she had. She learned that the reward on the other side of courage is always greater than the pain of staying stuck. She understands that every major breakthrough in her life has required her to take a risk, so now she no longer waits for perfect conditions to move forward. She acts with boldness, trusting that clarity will meet her as she walks. Her courage inspires others because people see her doing things they are too afraid to do themselves. They see her stepping onto new ground, starting new projects, building something from nothing. And they realize that if she can do it, maybe they can too. Her boldness becomes contagious. She doesn't just talk about faith, she demonstrates it. She is willing to take a leap even when she cannot see the landing. This doesn't mean she is reckless, it means she is obedient. She knows that some of the greatest opportunities God will ever give her will come disguised as intimidating challenges, and she refuses to miss them by shrinking back. Courage over comfort also shows up in how she handles adversity. When life gets hard, she doesn't hide or give up. She leans into the challenge with determination. She doesn't just pray for the difficulty to go away, she prays for the strength to overcome it. She knows that diamonds are made under pressure, and she is willing to endure the refining process because she knows it is producing something valuable inside of her. She doesn't view resistance as a sign to quit, but as a sign that she is close to a breakthrough. She chooses courage in relationships too. She has the courage to walk away from what no longer serves her. She has the courage to forgive when it would be easier to stay bitter. She has the courage to have hard conversations that lead to healing. She has the courage to set boundaries even when people don't like it. She has the courage to be her authentic self even when the world pressures her to conform. Every courageous choice she makes strengthens her character and deepens her influence. People respect her because she refuses to compromise her integrity just to avoid discomfort. Her life becomes a living reminder that greatness is never found in playing it safe. A heart that loves without limits is one of the most powerful indicators that a woman carries divine strength, because real love requires real courage. It is easy to love people when they are kind, when they agree with us, when they treat us the way we want to be treated. But a woman who carries God's power loves beyond convenience. She loves when it is hard. She loves when it is risky. She loves when it costs her something. Her love is not shallow or selective. It flows from a deep well inside of her that never runs dry. She sees people not just as they are, but as they could be. She understands that some people are broken, some are hurting, some are carrying pain they never speak about, and she chooses to be a safe place for them to land. Her love has the ability to disarm anger, soften pride, and mend hearts that have been shattered. Her love is not weakness. It is one of the strongest forces in her life. She knows that bitterness only poisons the one who holds it. So she chooses forgiveness quickly. She releases grudges because she knows they weigh her down. She does not allow her past pain to harden her heart or turn her cold. Instead, she turns her pain into compassion. She becomes more patient, more kind, more understanding because she knows what it feels like to be misunderstood. Her love allows her to show grace to others without losing herself. She can set boundaries and still love from a distance. She can correct someone and still protect their dignity. She can say no without being cruel because her love is balanced with wisdom. This kind of love is fierce. It fights for what is right. It intercedes for others in prayer when they cannot pray for themselves. It covers people when they are exposed and vulnerable. It celebrates when others win instead of being jealous. It does not compete. It does not compare. It uplifts and encourages. A woman like this becomes a light in dark places because her love becomes an example of what healing looks like. People feel safe around her because they know she will not use their weakness against them. She listens with her heart, not just her ears, and that makes her presence feel like home for those who are weary. She also loves herself with that same strength. She does not tolerate abuse, manipulation, or dishonor because she knows her value. Her love for herself is not selfish. It is sacred. She understands that she cannot pour from an empty cup. So she fills herself with peace, with joy, with purpose, so she can love others well. She treats her own heart with care, knowing that everything she does flows from it. This love keeps her grounded, keeps her whole, keeps her powerful. It allows her to love without expecting anything in return, because her love is not dependent on the response of others. It is anchored in something much greater. Her love is a reflection of divine love, patient and persistent, strong and unyielding, a love that refuses to give up even when everything else says it is time to quit. Discernment that cuts through deception is one of the sharpest tools a powerful woman carries, because it allows her to see what others cannot see and know what others cannot easily recognize. She is not easily fooled by appearances or sweet words because her spirit has been trained to listen beyond the surface. This kind of discernment is not simply intelligence or intuition. It is a deep spiritual sensitivity that alerts her when something is off, even if everything looks perfect on the outside. She has learned to pay attention to the quiet whispers in her heart, to notice the red flags that others ignore, to slow down and seek clarity before making decisions that could cost her peace. Her ability to discern helps her protect her heart, her mind, her relationships, and her purpose. She has walked through enough painful lessons to know what it feels like to trust the wrong voices. She remembers the time she ignored her inner warning and paid the price, so now she values discernment like gold. She prays for wisdom before she steps into opportunity. She seeks understanding before committing her time, her energy, or her emotions. This woman knows that not every door that opens is meant to be walked through. Not every hand extended is meant to be held, and not every voice speaking into her life is speaking truth. Her discernment keeps her from being manipulated, distracted, or deceived by things that look good but are not good for her. Discernment also gives her the ability to see people through the lens of truth. She can tell when someone is hiding pain behind a smile, when someone's flattery is really a mask for selfish motives, when someone's advice is rooted in fear and not faith. She does not judge harshly, but she sees clearly. This clarity allows her to respond wisely, to choose her inner circle carefully, and to surround herself with people who push her closer to her purpose. Her discernment helps her avoid unnecessary battles because she can recognize which fights are worth engaging in and which are simply distractions meant to drain her energy. This gift also helps her stay focused on her assignment. She does not get caught up in every trend, every opinion, every noise that tries to pull her attention away. She can filter through the chaos and focus on what really matters. Even when the world is confused, she remains steady because she is led by conviction, not by pressure. Her discernment allows her to navigate seasons of change with wisdom, knowing when it is time to move forward, when it is time to wait, and when it is time to let go. Her discernment is not fueled by fear or suspicion, but by peace. It is not about looking for the worst in people. It is about recognizing what is true. When something aligns with truth, she feels a deep confirmation. When something is not right, she senses an uneasiness that prompts her to step back. She trusts that inner leading because it has proven faithful over and over again. This sharp spiritual perception keeps her steps aligned, her heart guarded, and her purpose protected, allowing her to walk boldly without being constantly blindsided by deception. Purpose that drives her every step is what separates her from those who are simply drifting through life, because everything she does is rooted in intention. She is not living by accident, she is living by design. She wakes up every morning with a deep awareness that her life is not random, that she was created with a specific assignment in mind. This sense of purpose fuels her decisions, her habits, her relationships, and even her mindset. She does not waste her days scrolling aimlessly, running after trends, or chasing validation from people who don't understand her journey. She is focused, she is disciplined, and she is committed to building something that will outlast her. Her purpose keeps her moving forward, even when she is tired, even when she is tempted to quit. She knows that her calling is bigger than her comfort. She has moments when she feels overwhelmed, but her sense of mission pulls her back on track. She understands that the work she is doing today is planting seeds for a future harvest. She refuses to settle for mediocrity because she knows there are people connected to her obedience, lives that will be impacted because she stayed faithful to what she was created to do. Sense of purpose gives her clarity when she has to make decisions. She knows when to say yes and when to say no. She does not feel pressured to be everywhere or do everything because she understands what she is called to focus on in this season. This keeps her from burning out, trying to meet everyone's expectations. She does not compare her journey to anyone else's because she knows her assignment is unique. Instead of being distracted by what others are doing, she keeps her eyes on her own lane and runs her race with determination. Purpose also gives her resilience in hard seasons. She does not give up when life gets difficult because she knows that everything she faces is shaping her for the future. She sees challenges as preparation, not punishment. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more equipped. This mindset allows her to see beyond the present struggle and focus on the bigger picture. Even when she experiences setbacks, she does not stay down for long. She gets back up because her purpose is too important to abandon. Her purpose also affects the way she treats others. She becomes intentional about how she invests her time, who she mentors, who she supports, and what kind of example she sets. She knows that her life is being watched, and she uses that influence to inspire others to rise higher. Her purpose-driven living pushes her to keep learning, keep growing, and keep stretching beyond her comfort zone. She does not allow fear of failure to paralyze her because she understands that mistakes are part of the process and each one teaches her something valuable. Her steps are ordered because she trusts the one who gave her this assignment. She is patient when the process feels slow.